Alright, we are going second. Yay, energy advantage. We're going against a fighting deck. We are weak to fighting, but with energy advantage, that's less. I'm kind Mantike. Okay, we're going against a Poliwrath EX. They're going to want to get their Poliwag on their bench as soon as possible. That Pokeball could brick, like ideally I'd want them to brick into another Mantike. They used the Pokeball, and in a professor's research, I'm not 100% certain that they did get a Mantike. Or they got a Mantike! When I said I'm not 100% certain they got a Mantike, I meant I'm not 100% certain that they got a Poliwag. I'm gonna go ahead and Alicia, that way I can get my Skrelp and one of my Woopers. That way one of my Pokeballs guarantees gets me a Nihilego. A Hydra would be getting 2 Nihilegos. Can I get 2 of them? I have already drawn my Alicia. I did get both of them. This is definitely an ideal setup for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put both of them on the bench. Put energy onto my Skrelp. I've already played my supporter in the form of Alicia just to get access to my Nihilegos. I'm going to attack the Mantike. Maybe my opponent will draw their Poliwag this turn. That's kind of all that, realistically speaking. Oh, my fucking face tracking died for a little bit. I apologize. Realistically speaking, that's all they can do. They copycat to try and grab out a Poliwag. They succeed. I'm really hoping that I can draw out one of my Dragalges here. Dragalge is kind of like the key to this whole deck working. They do only have 2 cards, though. I'm not like the most concerned about them getting there. There's my Dragalge, wonderful. Ask and you shall receive. I got both of them. So I am going to go ahead and put a Rocky Helmet on this Dragalge so that if they attack me, they both get poisoned and take 30 damage, and then they take 20 damage. And I'm very doubtful that they have a rare candy and a Poliwrath in their hand. So I'm not too concerned. Now I can start building my Clodsire. Their Poliwrath is going to be hitting for 150. That's kind of scary. I maybe think about, going back into a Nihilego. Looks like they're copycatting again just to try and find their Poliwrath at this point. They do have 9 cards. So, like, if they're running 2 Poliwraths, that's like a 1 in 5 chance, a 20% to find that. I did get my Cyrus. I don't know if I want my Cyrus here, but I'm going to go ahead and put an energy on Clodsire just so that it can attack. Ideally, I would want to find my Heavy Helmet and also hope that they haven't found their Poliwrath. Dragalge is just a powerful upfront tank that makes it really hard for your opponent to do anything for them to attack you. It does a whole lot of damage. Might not be very meta, but boy, if it isn't a fun card. They do have their Poliwrath. They're going to go down to Clodsire. Actually, they're going to take 50 damage here. I'm going to deal 120, and then they'll take poison damage. So that's GG. Dragalge doing precisely what it needs to, wearing that Rocky Helmet to boot. That's why I'm running it in here. You can you can make your opponent take so much poison damage. You don't even need both your Nihilegos. Just taking 30 poison damage per turn is almost too much for anything. I mean, like, look at it. It has 120 HP. We're going to go ahead or 130 HP. We're going to finish off with Clodsire and take the GG. Thank you very much, Poliwrath EX, and thank you for the game, Saro 250. Yippee! Going first. Definitely not ideal for this deck. We do have a Wooper up front. Wooper, I would say, is probably the ideal go first Pokemon, just because you can poison your opponent and at least tank 1 hit. The only thing that really takes you down is a Hitmonchan EX that deals 50 damage, but since you're just kind of sitting there, and my opponent's Magikarp can't attack for at least 2 turns. If they have a Mantike, go ahead and play my Professor's Research, and just to get my cards out, I have a Nihilego, which means that they're immediately going to take poison damage. I'm going to put that and Skrelp's ideal here, I would say, and whatever else I draw up from my deck just to protect against any like Cyrusing or Sabrina-ing. I would say ideally, like, I don't have my Skrelp get put in the active, but it is what it is at this point. It deals 20 damage. Never mind, they conceded. Oh, Derby High! Going second again, like I said. Very good that you go second. I would say Skrelp, almost always ideal. You can start with a Wooper, go into like a Nihilego. We are going against this Suicune. That's pretty scary. They have draw advantage, but we do have energy advantage. That's like, if they get a Giratina, I imagine they maybe start building that. They already have a Froakie, they have a Giratina. Like I said, probably just going to immediately start building that. We want to keep our bench as tiny as possible. I'm probably going to go ahead and we have Dragalge. Okay, I want to thin my hand as much as humanly possible. I'm going to hope that this Pokeball, I'm going to say, draws a... Okay, Nihilego is not bad. I'm going to go ahead and attack. If I get hit by a Sabrina, or if they rare candy into Greninja, attack the Nihilego in the back, use Cyrus, pull a damaged Pokemon off of your opponent's bench, then I'm in a little bit of trouble. But if I can keep my hand as it is and they don't use like a Mars or a red card to make me redraw my deck, they only have 1 Pokemon. Really, 1 Pokemon to draw. That means their hand is full of Pokemon. I'm gonna hope that there's not a rare candy in there. Maybe there's a Frogadier for them to like evolve the Froakie. Not the most concerned at this point, to be entirely honest. I have my Dragalge. I have a Nihilego. I do really need to find my Clodsire. My Dragalge can tank 1 attack, but like I can't tank that much more. If Suicune hits me though, it's gonna be taking 40 damage. So unless they have a giant cape to increase Suicune's health by about 20, there's not a whole lot they can do. If I had to guess, they're probably going to hit my Nihilego with a Water Shuriken and bring it up with a Cyrus to KO it. Nope, they're just gonna go straight for damage onto Dragalge. They're going for Giratina at this point. I really need my Clodsire. Where is my Clodsire? Let's Professor's Research first to see if I can get a basic Pokemon. There's my Wooper, there's my Clodsire. I am sitting pretty here. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. If I had to guess, maybe they're gonna try and bring my Wooper up to KO it. Not too much to be done there. I'm gonna drop this down. Suicune attacks for 20 for each bench Pokemon. So if you have, you know, a bunch of Pokemon on your bench, it'll be swinging for 120, but that's just not the case. I'm pretty happy to lose my Dragalge here. It's not necessarily telegraphed that I do have my Clodsire in my hand either. It's just I'm really hoping for a Clodsire here. I'm really hoping that they don't go for any hand disruption. I'm really hoping that they don't go for my Wooper, but if they go for my Wooper, I will probably actually bring my other Wooper up and Poison Jab Giratina. That way it gets poisoned, it takes the extra damage, and then, Mars. Yep, I'm going to draw 1 card for that. Hopefully it's my Clodsire, it's my Cyrus. That's not great. Ooh. Wooper. Okay, are you going to KO my Dragalge or are you going to KO my Wooper? You're going to KO my Wooper. Okay, I need to get a Clodsire from the top of my deck right now, or I'm pretty toast. If I can get my Clodsire, I'm gold. I don't have any draw though, so it's pretty much top deck my Clodsire or GG. We got the Clodsire, baby. Let's go. Let's finish off this Giratina. And you know what? This just goes to show, even the off meta can defeat the meta if you draw good and play right. So, GG's to my opponent, and thanks for the match. Let's go, Clodsire. If you would like a fun fact, I did actually do most of the 9 wins event with this deck. So, like, it's not the best in the world by any means, but it can definitely get stuff done. I'm going to go ahead and think that I'm going to start with my Wooper. My logic here is because I'm going first. I have evolution advantage. I do have my Clodsire in my hand. They could potentially start with a Zeraora, which can put an energy on itself for the first turn. This is an Oricorio, so this is potentially my hardest matchup, especially if they have an energy advantage. I really hope I can get my other Nihilego. I can't, but I do find my Skrelp. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and bench my Nihilego. I'm actually going to put my other Wooper on the bench too. That way, if they try and get this Wooper out of the active spot with a card like Sabrina, which just I swap out one of my Pokemon, or for a Repel, which does the same thing for a basic Pokemon, I'll just be able to chill. Essentially, I'm going to be able to poison this Oricorio as well. They are running a Jolteon deck. A Jolteon allows your opponent to essentially... What is the word I'm looking for here? A Jolteon allows the opponent to have an ability, as long as Jolteon is in the active spot, to just poison your... not poison. Deal damage when you attach energy to a Pokemon. I got there eventually. So there's Jolteon. Here's the text, precisely what it says. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their energy zone to one of their Pokemon, do 20 damage to that Pokemon. They did just put an energy on the Jolteon. I'm thinking maybe they're going to be looking to retreat. I can actually just build this Wooper and then evolve into Clodsire. So what I am thinking... Do I want to build Wooper, actually? I could build Skrelp. I'm going to build Skrelp. I'm going to put it in the active spot so that when my opponent comes up, they're going to hit my Dragalge. They're going to get poisoned, and I'm going to be able to damage their Jolteon and KO it potentially. They're taking 20 damage, so I'm going to be able to poison point it with my Dragalge, and they don't really have access to my bench. It looks like they're running a Jumpluff, which... for 1 energy, attacks for 70. It has 170 HP. It has a retreat cost of 1, but its attack allows you to kind of pivot out of the active spot and swap it with a Pokemon. If I had to guess, they're kind of going for a Wombo combo here with Jolteon. They're going to retreat with Jolteon, attack my Dragalge, and then go back into Jolteon. So I'm kind of on a time limit here, and I need to deal with this Jolteon as soon as possible. I do have Cyrus in my hand, so I do have an option for that, but I really need to get it done with the... oh, they're putting Oricorio in the active spot. Okay, they're going to wall me out. What do I do? What do I do? I can... If I build my Nihilego, I can attack it for 30 2 turns from now, unless I draw my Lyra. My Dragalge is not long for this world. Their Oricorio can't do a whole lot, but I can't do a whole lot against it. I think pretty much my only option at this point is to get it out of the active spot. Not next turn, but maybe the turn after. I can go ahead and even sack one of my Woopers for that. And maybe deal some poison damage and find some sort of Cyrus play. But it's seeming pretty iffy for me at this point. I'm going to go ahead and have my Dragalge take 1 more hit. Maybe I can do something with Wooper. The fact that they're going to be able to pivot out of the active spot repeatedly, they're probably going to pivot out and just attack for 70. There's no real reason for them to not do that. Me personally, I'd probably just start attacking with Oricorio. My bench is pretty weak to that. Just if you don't know, Oricorio can't take damage from any EX Pokemon. So it seems like it's 70 HP and you may have been sitting there. Like Zalia, why don't you just hit the little bird? Trust me, this bird is terrifying. Nobody likes this bird, but everybody likes this bird because electric type would be doomed without it. But in this case, you know, you have Jumpluff, which can pivot out of the active spot. You may switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Jolteon has a thing where it's in the active spot, just deal 20 damage to you repeatedly. And Oricorio can't take damage from EX Pokemon. So kind of no matter what you do, unless you have some heavy hitting basic Pokemon here, or not basic Pokemon, just non-EX Pokemon, there's not a whole lot you can do against Oricorio. Yeah, like they're sitting in the active spot. They know I can't do anything about it. I'm kind of floundering for options here. If I do get an open bench slot, I can place my other Nihilego. That'll deal more poison damage, but like I don't know if I got a line here. I don't know if I have a line here. They don't have any points. I'm gonna deal almost enough damage to KO this. If they stay in, I'm going to be able to hopefully put my like Clodsire in. Nope, they're gonna jump in and KO it. That's okay. I'm going to be able to potentially KO their Oricorio, but at this point, I'm kind of just sending a message more than I'm actually doing anything. I might have some sort of funky line where I sack both of these Whoopers just to get rid of the Oricorio, which I think is what I'm going to do. And then I can like maybe have Dragalge tank an attack. They've thankfully given me access to my other Cyrus, which is gonna allow me to just yoink something off of the bench. I need my Lyra. I really need my Lyra. So yeah, now I'm just kind of fishing for Lyra, which will let me just swap out my active Pokemon. What I'm thinking here is they're going to KO my Wooper. I'm going to put Dragalge in. They're going to deal however much damage to it, probably 70 damage to it. Then I'll be able to get my Lyra. I have a 1 in 4, so 25% chance, and I have 2 more chances to draw cards. In the meantime, I'm going to build up a Dragalge in the back and hopefully be able to do something with that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do something with that. That being said, I do have Cyrus, and I can't be KO'd in one hit by either of these Pokemon. And at this point, they're pretty reliant on retreat. Maybe they're going to try and... Oh, you know what? I think what they're aiming for is they're going to retreat out and swing at my Dragalge for 80. Yeah, they're not going to be dumb. Yeah, they're not going to be dumb. I think I'm just going to hit end turn, concede. That was kind of the only option I had, but I forgot Jolteon dealt 80 damage, so let's go ahead and end my turn. I concede, take the win. Well done to my opponent. And that will be it for me. Let me know what you think of this deck. I think it's quite fun. It does have a couple of weaknesses. Do you have any thoughts on how I can improve it? And if you don't mind, hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'm going to be trying to get more of these out. Yeah. Wow.